people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
And the West Indies have won. How good does that sound? We haven't heard that all season long when the West Indies have played South Africa, but we definitely heard it loud and clear yesterday when the West Indies defeated the South Africans in the first of 5 T20s. Hello, everyone. Welcome to On Tour. It's a program where we look back at the West Indies versus South Africa series. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Thank you so much for joining me. Of course, we're going to have our guests in a second, but let's first of all look at the scorecard. It was the West Indies beating in the Test series 2-0, on to the T20s now in Grenada, and the West Indies won the toss and chose to field first. The South Africans making 160 for 6. They were going great guns, but they were held back by some good bowling, especially from Fabian Allen and Dwayne Bravo. Rassie van der Dusen made 56. Quinton de Kock made 37. Allen got 2 for 18 and Bravo 2 for 30. The Windies, they breezed to 161 for 2 in 15 overs. Evan Lewis, a whirlwind 71 from 35 balls, 7 sixes and 4 fours. And then we saw some great fireworks from Andre Russell, 23 not out. Before that, we saw Fletcher make 30 and Chris Gale, 32 not out. The Windies winning by 8 wickets with some 30 balls to spare. What a victory for the West Indies. And if anything else, for the fans in the Caribbean who watched the West Indies look very hapless with the batting against the South Africans, it must have brought at least a smile for the meantime to Windies fans and give them some confidence. Let's go to our panel. We've got a duo. We've got Tino Bess, fast and fiery, and Philo Wallace, hard-hitting, back in his day at least. Gentlemen, I'll go to Philo first. Tino, he's first time he's been with us for the season. Philo, the victory, how pleasing was it for West Indies to actually win something against the South Africans?
Good evening. Thanks for having me on your program once again, and to Tino. But it's good. It's a good feeling to see that our West Indies have won the first T20. There are 4 more T20s to play at the Grenada National Stadium. And I think the way they came out and played that first T20 was commendable. I was quite happy to see the short balls from the South Africans being knocked away with conviction and confidence by Evan Lewis and Andre Fletcher. And I call it a muscle victory. I thought the batsmen for West Indies today really muscled the ball to the boundary and shocked the South Africans. That did not happen in the Test series. I know it's a different surface, a different mindset, but I thought the way in which the batsmen played in that first T20 was commendable, and let's hope that they can continue in the next 4 games. The South Africans obviously will go back to the drawing boards and look to come harder, but the West Indies obviously have one up, and they just need to build on that momentum while moving forward.
Tino, what made the difference today, in your opinion?
Experience. We got some experienced guys in the West Indies team have been playing cricket for nearly 15 years for the West Indies. In some cases, well, in one case, Chris Gill has been there for 20 odd. Look, at the end of the day, the way that they went out and batted today was wonderful to watch. As I tweeted, T20 is absolute madness cricket, Barry. Look, the Test boys can take a leaf out of their books as well. They hold the way how they put away those short balls. And that's what you have to do. You got to muscle the cricket. You got to muscle the cricket ball. And you can't let South African fast bowlers come and stamp the authority. You've got to knock the short balls away. And when the West Indies were knocking the short balls away, they had to go to their slow balls. And their slow balls were effective. But definitely South Africa is going to look to come back stronger.
I also want to remind you, we want you to continue to be a major part of this program. You can send us your WhatsApp, no calls, just WhatsApp calls. We appreciate them from anywhere you are watching in the world. The number is on screen there. Area code, of course, 246-284-7554. That's 246-284-7554. We do have a couple of WhatsApps that we're going to share with you from the Test series. We'll perhaps look at that in the last, of course, section of this program. Let's get into the meat of the match now. And you look at how Dwayne Bravo came, Philo, and pull things back. Tino alluded to it just now about those slow balls. But to tell the truth, the South Africans were going at 8.5 and over. Van der Dusen was batting really well with the Kock. And Bravo and Fabian Allen really pulled things back. How well did they bowl at these 2 batsmen who seem to be taking the initiative for the South Africans, Philo Wallace?
Look at it, the Kock and Van der Dusen, they're the 2 guys who pulled runs in the Test series. So they're informed batsmen. And Dwayne Bravo and Fabian Allen pulled it back admirably. Bravo game with his slower balls, a lot of concoctions that he's mixed up. And at 37, I think he's still showing that he has the ability. I'm not saying that he's going to go deep into our cricket, but at this present moment, he's doing what is expected of him. And Allen obviously has come in with his left hand spin, and the surface in Grenada would suit his type of ball. And I thought that he varies pace well, he varies lengths, and he's an asset in the field as well. So he feed off of Bravo, and the two of them obviously combined to stem the flow of runs from the South African batsmen. And I thought too that some of the South African batsmen gifted their wickets away, and obviously West Indies capitalised on that. One thing I would admire in the field that everybody was smiling. Despite the South Africans were going great guns, they were still smiling and happy. And that is something we didn't see in the Test series. So I hope that those happy smiles will continue for the next 4 games and beyond.
I want to ask you this question, Tino. What is it so special about St. Clair that the captain is opening the bowling with him? Because he seems to be a major liability at the top. And he's been, for me, thrown into the deep end. What is your thoughts on St. Clair opening that bowling for the West Indies?
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, you get picked to play the cricket, but you can't play the international cricket, I can tell you that. And Kieran Pollard is one of those guys I've played in games where international games for West Indies where Pollard was the captain. He's not one of those captains that are going to hide you. You get picked to do a job, lace up your boots and do your job. The selection of Sinclair still puzzles me to this day, but that's a whole different can of worms. Sinclair don't pick himself. That's the selectors have a job to do and they pick him. So he has a job to go out there and do. An off spinner opening the bowling is always going to be a gamble, especially at this level, Barry. It's not like you're playing CPL where the pitches might help the bowler somewhat. But I still believe that we shouldn't open the bowling with Sinclair, who's in his 4th, 5th T20 game. But at the end of the day, I thought the South Africans really stamped their authority against him, and they were off the flyer. And that is something that the West Indies captain and the backroom staff are going to look to amend going forward in this series. And look, this is just a dress rehearsal. I think they play some T20s against Pakistan and Australia. I stand to be corrected. But they got the big T20 World Cup coming up, and they got to make sure that they get their bowlers in tight situations to see who is the right person to play in the T20 World Cup.
Philo, you look at the fact that Lendo Simmons and Peter Edwards are the 2 players left out. I'm coming around to the point that the West Indies have picked 4 openers in this squad, which means that someone like a Chris Gayle, like we saw today, batted at, of course, at number 3, like he did against the Sri Lankans. Are you happy with the balance of this team and the depth of the bowling in the side?
Look at it, Barry. Chris Gayle has not been opening batting for a lot of franchises around the world. And obviously, he batted at number 3 in the series against Sri Lanka. He didn't get any runs. Today, he came at 3 and he showed that responsibility. Look a little jerky at the start, but then he got into stride. And South African bowlers, they bowled some puddings, and he put them away with authority. So it was good to see him getting some runs. I thought that Fletcher and Lewis set about the chasing the target quite nicely. It's unfortunate for Lender Simmons, but I believe they're going to be in a rotation policy for these 5 T20s in Grenada. And Lender Simmons will get his opportunity. The selectors will have to decide if it's Lewis or Fletcher that will step down, or even give Gayle a rest and try to use Lender Simmons in the middle. I thought the balance today was not bad. I thought Captain Pollard had enough bowlers. Pollard himself did not bowl. And I would like to see him bowl sometime during this 5-match series, because I think that he does bits and bobs and can get wickets. But I thought today he handled the side well. The guys responded well to their responsibilities. And at the end of the day, Barry, West Indies came out victorious. It is a victory. It is something that they can build on. And I will hope that they do see the light at the end of the tunnel, where they now are preparing themselves for that very important T20 World Cup. Might not be in India, it might be in Abu Dhabi. Again, they have to pick horses for courses for that World Cup, where it's being played. If it's played in the Emirates, the pitches are going to take spin. So St. Clair, I believe, need to up his game a bit more. I think he's a little too childish at the international level. But I thought today the batsmen held their own and they batted well, and hopefully they will continue to do that. When you can chase down a target of over 160 and only lose 2 wickets, that is good going.
All right, you're watching On Tour. When we come back, we're going to zoom in on Evan Lewis and Andre Russell.
To the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
So welcome back then to On Tour. Of course, if you're just tuning in, the West Indies winning the first T20 by 8 wickets with 30 balls to spare. South Africa won 60. West Indies won 61 for 6 in 15 overs. Evan Lewis, Tino Best, talk to me about how this Trinidadian continues to move from strength to strength. Of course, he does know that Lendl Simmons is on the sidelines waiting if he fails. And then you've got Fletcher there as well. How good did Evan Lewis bat, and what makes him so special?
Look, Evan is a talent, Barry. Look, watching him through the years, he's growing in stature. Look, one of the best one-day innings I've seen is him against England at the Oval. I think he scored 176 and retired hurt. He played a ball back onto his step or something like that. But look, he's a tremendous talent, and what I love about him, he puts away short balls. But look, when you're facing 30, the best fast bowlers in the world, and you treat them like that, Barry. I mean, these were clean, quality pull shots. Why isn't Evan getting the opportunity playing Test cricket? Look, my grandfather told me the other day, we were talking some cricket, and he said, look, why don't we give this guy Evan Lewis an opportunity to open in the Test matches? We can't be so bad in the team that we give him an opportunity. And to be honest, he was terrific. What I love about his shot what I like about the innings, beg your pardon, was his shot selection. The only time he played a bad shot was when he got out. I thought he should have gone straight with that shot. But all in all, Barry, he's going to do well, and he likes competition. I think that added competition from Lendl Simmons on the sideline is going to add that fuel to this young man. He's a very soft-spoken young man, and he's a champion. And I believe that he can go from strength to strength, and he can also pick up that mantle that Chris Gayle is going to leave for all the young batters coming through the ranks now.
Fellow, should Evan Lewis be playing Test cricket? I think I'm beginning to lean and side with Tina on that one. Certainly, from what we see from Craig Brathwaite and the other opening batsmen, West Indies need a proper opener. And with Evan Lewis, perhaps they can't go wrong. Your thoughts on Evan Lewis, how he batted today, and is he ready to play Test cricket for the Windies?
Barry, there's a selection policy. And Evan Lewis and Nicholas Pooran and all the others have to play red ball cricket, which is 4-day cricket. Cricket West Indies will set the dates for that 4-day competition, and those guys have to make themselves available to play 4-day cricket. If Evan Lewis wants to play Test match cricket, he has to play 4-day cricket. I'm terribly sorry. I'm not going to go against a policy that I sat down 3.5 months and formulate. I'm sorry. He has to play red ball cricket. He batted well today. I congratulate him. This talk has been around for a very long time about Evan Lewis, but does Evan Lewis wants to play red ball cricket? Does he want to play cricket starting at 10 o'clock in the morning and finishing at 5 in the evening, 6 long hard hours? Evan Lewis has to answer that question. And if he does, then he has to sacrifice some time and play for Trinidad and Tobago, whichever franchise is going to pick him up. I think today he batted well. He challenged the short ball quite nicely. He put it away with authority. But there's another game on Sunday, and he has to come up with that same intensity. But again, just use a bit more common sense and look to score hundreds rather than getting these half centuries. If he's got 100 today, it will give him more impetus for the rest of the series. But he played well, I congratulate him. And if he wants to play Test match cricket, Barry, there's a policy. He has to play red ball cricket. He has to find the time to play red ball cricket for Trinidad and be successful. I'm not going to pick someone off a white ball form to play red ball cricket. It's two different types of cricket.
All right, it's definitely a hot topic. I want to hear from you viewers. Chime in. Do you think Evan Lewis should play for the West Indies Test team? I mean, Philo is saying because he has to play for the criteria, satisfy the criteria of playing first-class cricket. But there's no first-class cricket. There was none last year. There's none this year. COVID has changed the game. Changed the game too. Send me your thoughts on that. 246-284-7554. Tina Best, how do you feel about that position?
Right. I mean, that's why I brought up the point, because there's no first-class cricket being played. And I know our policy is completely different to the other boards around the world. But Josh Butler got picked for England Test team on white ball form. Just saying.
Exactly. Look, COVID has changed the game for criteria. And for me, I don't think the selectors are necessarily sticking to the criteria anyway. So I don't see anything wrong with giving Evan Lewis the opportunity to play. I know those guys, they want to play the cricket. Look, Let's look at Andrew Russell then today. We can let our viewers decide and tell us about that. Send me your WhatsApps. Evan Lewis batted really well, like I said, but Andrew Russell, you call him now the finisher. This man is destructive fielder. He reminds me of you when you were youthful playing for the Windies. What makes him so good? When he plays for the West Indies, they have 72% ratio of winning T20 matches when he does well and plays.
But Barry, first of all, Andrew Russell is not like me. He's Andrew Russell. He's a big, strong fella. He hits the ball mighty hard. I saw the stats today on the television that when he plays, we win a lot of games, and I commend him. I am not I'm not too perturbed by Andrew Russell. I think he's done what he's supposed to do. He looks fit. I hope he doesn't break down in this 5-match series. He's bowled 3 overs for 29 runs. He picked up a wicket, and when he came up to bat, one thing I didn't like about his batting, though, Barry, is that he's looking to hit everything through cow corner. And I know he's a better batsman than that. I think that
Yeah.
if he looks to play the authentic cricket shots down the ground and through extra cover, when those length balls come along, he can hit them with more authority. But if you go and look to swing the first ball he received through wide long on cold corner for 6, that is great. But again, it's not going to happen every day. So I think that with Russell, I think yes, we have a match winner in him, but he knows that he has to stay fit in order to be that match winner for West Indies. I thought he played well. He came in and he read the situation well. Chris Gayle was there, a fellow Jamaican, and they would have used Jamaican science to get West Indies over the line. But for Russell, well played. But there's another. There are 4 other games, and there's not a lot of downtime in this 5-match T20 series. You talk about COVID has changed everything. Yes, COVID has changed everything, but COVID should not change certain things. And I think that it is good for Russell today to get onto the park for West Indies and stay on the park and put in the performance that we expect of him. And hopefully he can put in some more good performances for West Indies down the road in T20 cricket.
All right, fantastic conversation there, guys. We're going to just take a little break. When we come back, we're going to hear from the 2 captains and their thoughts. I thought Kyron Pollard had an excellent presentation at the end there speaking. I want you to listen carefully to what he said regarding why he thought the Windies lost the Test series and why he also thinks that they were more successful and will be perhaps more successful, if not competitive, in the T20s. When we come back, on tour.
To the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
Welcome back to On Tour. Let's hear now from Kyron Pollard and Bavuma, of course, the South African captain. They spoke after the game.
I think as a team, we've got a lot to speak about from a batting and bowling point of view. We don't have a lot of time to get things right, but I think the hard discussions we're going to have and make sure tomorrow we come with a better plan.
So at the halfway mark, 160 on the board, what was your thinking at that stage?
Yeah, look, we thought it was a decent score, probably obviously below par. But that's the effort that we were able to manage with the bat. You know, we were leaning quite heavily on our bowling attack, you know, to kind of make sure that was a competitive attack. Unfortunate that wasn't to be. Like I said, you know, we're going to have those conversations.
Kyron Pollard's alongside me. Gee, Kyron, that's some performance today.
Yeah, it was. It's something that we spoke about, you know, trying to, you know, hit the first punch. But when they came out to bat, I think they got off to a pretty good start. The experience of Quinny at the start of the inning showing that, you know, you can take the bowlers on. But, you know, credit to the bowlers, how they came back in the middle phases and to the back end, you know, using their variations and using the dimensions of the ground, and it worked for us.
What was your feeling at the halfway mark?
160, I think that's on par. You know, normally, as I said, the last game we played against Ireland, over 200, and when we play, you know, one-day games and stuff here, the scores are pretty high. So, you know, being able to restrict them for 160, I thought we were right into the game. You know, credit goes to the bowlers, and then the way that we went out and chased it with that sort of positive attitude, you know, guys playing, you know, to their strengths, and, you know, trying to take on the power play with 2 guys out, I think was well done.
Darren was chatting to Evan Lewis. My goodness, that was a terrific knock first up.
Yeah, it is. You know, talented, you know, cricketer. We love to see more of that, you know, from Evan on a consistent basis, you know, series upon series. So, you know, hopefully he takes this in stride, and he has been doing well for us over the last couple of series, and we hope that consistency can continue. But, you know, for us, it's not only about one individual, it's about the entire team and everyone getting an opportunity to perform and show, you know, what they're made of. So, you know, a couple of guys got a hit out today, and, you know, winning the games with overs to spare and wickets in hand, I think that's a start for us.
And that's a nice message to the supporters of the West Indies T20 team after the Test series.
Yeah, of course. Again, sometimes you got to cut some slack. You have a young team from a Test cricket point of view. These guys would not have faced, the likes of Nokia and Rabada at any given time. So, for us, we are a little bit familiar with these guys playing around the world, different tournaments, and guys using the experience here. It's just one game of 5 or 5 match series, so we can't get too much ahead of ourselves. As an individual and as a team, we just try to continue to get better and speak about certain things, and hopefully we can come and give a consistent performance tomorrow.
Great stuff from the two captains, and we must also congratulate Evan Lewis, man of the match, for his 71 from just 35 balls, 4 fours and 7 sixes. Gentlemen, any changes for Tino Best for T20 number 2, or would they keep the same team?
I would bring Fidel Edwards to Sinclair. I don't understand if you pick Fidel at age 39 where he's on the bench. He has to be playing, and that's the only change I would bring. If Fidel is in the squad, he has to be playing. It does not make sense that you pick a man at 39 years old and he's sitting on the bench. It's a waste pick. Pick someone like a Kalmiers who can learn from Pollard, from Dwayne Bravos, from Gale, from all of them. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, how far is Fidel's career going to take him now? And I mean, I love Fidel. Don't take this as a shot at Fidel. But if you're going to pick a guy at 39, he has to be starting in the 11. Simple.
I fully endorse that. Philo Wallace, your thoughts on the 11 for T20 number 2?
Well, Barry, I think T20 number 2, they'll play the same 11. I think Fidel's opportunity will come later in the series. There are 4 more games to play. It's just unfortunate he did not start. But with a Russell back, Fidel Edwards would have struggled to get into the side because Sinclair was the spinner against the Sri Lankans, and he did a reasonably good job there. So Fidel, obviously, if he comes in tomorrow, I wish him all the very best. But I wouldn't change the 11. I would give the guys a second game and then look to change maybe going into game 3 and 4. But you still want to continue your winning ways. So you don't want to change too early. Just need to try and make these guys understand, look, we can go 2-0 up. We go 2-0 up with the same team that has won the first game. And then look to make changes going into the back end of the 5 T20 series. So it's hard for Fidel at 39. I don't really want to call his age. It's hard for him not to have started. But he has to understand the dynamics of the team and the balance of the team.
All right, excellent stuff, Philo Wallace and Tino Best. Of course, I want to remind you, the numbers there, send in your thoughts. We want to share them with our viewers, 246-284-7554. Thanks to all of those who have written in during the test series. We are going to find some time to share those lovely messages you have for the West Indies team. All right, Tino Best, thanks so much. Philo Wallace, we'll see Philo on Tuesday. We'll see Tino again on Sunday. You'll be watching On Tour. The Windies will continue as they play T20 number 2, and we've got live coverage coming up. Bye-bye for now.
West Indies. We are the West Indies. That's right. We are the West Indies. Turn it up to the top. It's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land. Just put up your hand. It's time.